Hello and welcome to the podcast. Every moment is sacred, where we interweave meditation and healing into everyday life. I am your host, Rain Elizabeth Stickney. Now, let us begin. It is the third and final episode with Jessie Krebs. If you haven't already heard her story on episode 63 and 66, go back and listen. On the Path with Jessie Krebs, wilderness and survival expert. She is an amazing teacher. And I was so lucky to sit in on half of a day of a course she was teaching in my neighborhood in Vermont. And I recommend everyone find out what Jessie is up to, connect with her, take one of her courses, watch her on National Geographic's Migrations, watch her on Alone Season 9, enjoy her masterclass. Look her up on social media. She is all over the place and she is so incredible. And what she teaches is not only the hard skills of survival, but also the soft skills of relationship and compassion and healing and telling one's story in a way that helps all beings everywhere. Today on episode 69, On the Path with Jessie Krebs, we complete this series and we get to hear Jessie's responses to some listener questions. We also get to learn about her adventure kitties and what it was like to be on Alone Season 9. Jessie shares what she is grateful for and her very personal names for wind, moon, and water. If you have any feedback for me, please write to healing@rainelizabeth.org. You can share with me topics you want to hear about, guests you would love to hear from, favorite guests from the past that you want to have back. Just let me know. I love to hear from you and I respond to all of my email. In the meantime, I welcome you to rate, review, subscribe, or follow, and share this episode, share this show with a friend or someone who would really, really enjoy the content. We have these healing conversations on Thursdays. That is what Jessie and I are sharing. We're sharing the healing of the present moment that's found through wilderness skills and through her teaching experience in this world and through her life experiences being a human being on this planet and navigating some pretty tough stuff as a kid and learning and growing all along the way so that she can help others, lend them a hand and pick them up when they have stumbled off the path. We also have meditations that air on Wednesdays and poetry that is shared on Tuesdays. So as you scroll through these episodes, you'll see a variety of content, and I hope you enjoy it all. Jessie's program of teaching women outdoor skills is called O.W.L.S, and you can find more information about that Outdoorsy women learning survival skills at her website, owlsskills.com. Jessie collaborates with many other teachers, so keep an eye out, keep an ear out, grab your compass and track her down. She is easy to find and such a wonder and wealth of knowledge. And now, the concluding episode of my delightful and deep and wonderful conversation with Jessie Krebs. Here you go. Well, one thing we haven't talked about is alone. And one of my listeners has already expressed to me, ask her about alone. What was it like to be on alone?
Yeah, that's, just part of the journey as well. It was good for me. My main goal for going on is I really wanted a woman to win it. And I felt like, yeah, I could do this. Mm-hmm. I can win it. And so it was to be hopefully, and it feels weird to me to say it. And it feels still like almost narcissistic or hubris, right? To say, oh, I'm a woman. I'm going to be a role model for other women. And at the same time, I've had, again, so many women that would not have considered themselves and probably still would not consider themselves role models to me. And they were definitely role models. So if I can do that for others, that's great. And so that was my primary goal initially for going on there. I'm like, I want a woman to win, or barring that, I want a marginalized demographics, somebody from marginalized to win. And this is season 9, right, that I was on. And so that was my goal going in. And I ended up having physical ailments, right? It's part of my physiology, the area we're in. The universe basically said, nope, it's not to be you. And that was a good lesson again for me. And I was I was so excited when I did come out. And I found out that, and about a week later, the only other guy, white male, came out. So all that was left, there were 4 people left out there, and it was Carrie Lee, the other woman, and 3 marginalized demographics. And I was like, yes, no matter what, right? That's going to happen. And then also when I came out, they were doing Frozen. They were filming it at about the same time. And none of us who were on season 9 knew this, but they were filming it in the same area. And we weren't that far apart. And they just went out later than the rest of us did. The other season did. And when I came out, soon after, Kelly came out and said, hey, I was just on this other one they're shooting, and there's only 2 women left out there. Right? Double win. So Juan Pablo from Mexico, he won season 9 of Alone, and Juanita from, right? She won Frozen. I was like, yes. So it was fantastic, because I call it the whoosh, right? This manifesting through feeling and through emotion. And I was whooshing for it beforehand. And it's like, thinking it was going to be me, and it wasn't. And I learned so much about me and my physiology, which could be very important in the future for me. And what better thing is there for someone who my mission is to empower, right? And be a healer of others. I don't need the win. You got the win. I'm so excited. Like, yes, that's beautiful. Yeah. So that was like the whole journey. That was it. Having to film myself, like I hated that part of it. And I was so focused really on my goal of I'm going to win, and this is what I'm doing, that I really think that compounded my physical ailments, and my mentality, my head wasn't in the right place. I wasn't in a good place for that, because I was seeing roadblocks, and I wasn't paying attention to them. And if I could have relaxed and simply gone out there and had joy and playful and connected with wilderness the way I did as a child, and the way I like to when I'm usually alone, I think it would have been a much different outcome. I don't know that I would have won, but I would have definitely had a much different experience out there. But as it was, it felt a lot like a fight for me. Like I was fighting the cameras and fighting the weather, and like just it didn't flow nicely for me. And those were the roadblocks, but it's okay. It's all good. I learn a lesson and you move on, right? Win some, learn some. And really, is it about winning or losing to begin with? No. So it's always learning, really.
Yeah, I hear a lot of really beautiful lessons there.
Yeah.
Along with the irony of being on alone and then fighting against so many roadblocks, and remembering, oh, what if I actually went out and acted like I usually do when I am alone?
Exactly. And not had this mission like kind of overclouding everything, and like trying to be so goal oriented. What if I had just played, just been human, been an animal, gone back to my roots and just been an animal on the planet, just goofing off.
Such a great inquiry.
It is. It's awesome. Yeah. So, and people ask me sometimes, would you do it again? And I'm like, yeah, I would, if it would help me, if this time, for me to be able to breathe and remember that lesson. I mean, what a lesson, right? For me in general, and to realize part of what I realized with that was I was getting so focused on work. I have been so focused on work. Like I'm starting a business, I'm working in a business, I'm trying to, right? And I would get so focused on that. And most of my time in wilderness and being outside is with other people. And it's usually trying to keep them alive or teach them something, right? And I'm doing very little checking in with my emotions and what's going on for me and really connecting with what I'm seeing around me. It's like, oh, well, that's kind of boring, right? And not very effective. And it's not, I love Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss. It's not following your bliss. You're on the road, but you're not fully embodying that yet. And there's more you have to learn about how to make that practical in what you're doing in life. So that was great when I got back to say like, oh, look what you did when you were alone. Instead of just playing, you were boom, 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 because for the last 5-6 years, that's what you've been doing. Every time you're in the wilderness, you got some kind of mission, you're trying to do something. What would it be like, right? Maybe you need to step back from your work a little bit and you need to remember, you need to reconnect on the joy and just going out and playing. That's a lot, right? Otherwise, you're not living. You're going back. You're starting to look like a robot again, Jess, right? Let's not do that. That's not a happy place.
Such a good reminder.
Yeah, all around us, right?
Well, on that note, there was another listener who wanted me to ask about what do you splurge on in your life and what do you do for self-care?
Yeah. Splurging, I will splurge probably most often on just really good food. That's one of my favorites. I really love really good food.
What is good food for you?
Like fresh berries and I do like good salads. So sometimes really good salads. And so normally I'm eating really healthy. And then once in a while I'll do like, I'm gonna eat a really good chocolate, right? I'm gonna
orange really dark chocolate.
Yes, that's really good. Absolutely. Yeah, this weekend for sure. Yeah, and really like I'll make a pie or or have a really good something or mom's cooking. My mom is an amazing cook, so I'll have some of mom's, which doesn't, now that I've hit menopause, doesn't help with the tire around the middle, which I'm trying to make peace with the new body that's coming with menopause. But yeah, it's just being able to relax and just really play and like I have a wonderful boyfriend. We've been together for about 9 years now, and I've got two kitties. So we just only about a year old. And we're training them to be adventure kitties. So we take them out kayaking.
Really?
Yeah, hiking on the trail. We can walk around like our area. We're in a neighborhood basically in Westminster in Colorado right now. And we don't have to use leashes. They'll just follow us. They'll come when we call.
So sweet. So how do you do that? There are cat people who listen to this show. How do you train a cat to go on adventures?
Start them really young. I think that's what really the key. So we had, within a week of us getting them as kittens, they were out on the kayak with us, right? And we took them on a road trip. It was June when we got them. And so we started a road trip in July. And we took them on the road so they got really comfortable being in the car, and then we were taking them out on the kayak. So they just grew up kind of doing that, and it was no big deal. And I didn't do as much of it as I would like to, but like, you can play with them in the water when they're kittens. If you do that and you dry them off and whatever, then water won't be a big deal. And taking them out, and it was like, especially when they're kittens, they're used to coming to mom and following mom and doing what mom says. And so I became mom, right? And Blake is the other parent. So if we say come along on the trail, okay, we follow mom. That's what we do, right? And so it's very easy to train them when they're that age to what do you want them to be able to do with you? And just in that first few months, especially, that's a critical learning time for them. So get them out there doing it. And get them coming to you when you call, and make sure you've got all that. Like, what do you want them? What's going to work throughout their life? Like Blake for a while tried a clicker. Like, well, now you lost the clicker. It fell behind the sofa, right? We're out here and we don't have a clicker. So I'm not going to use a clicker. I'm going to use a certain voice or tone, or snap my fingers, right? Snap means don't do that, right? And so with cats, I had for a while that I wasn't able to train as kittens. Like we had the spray bottle, right? When I don't want them to be afraid of water, I put a little vinegar in it because that doesn't taste good at all, right? But it's not going to hurt them. So they'd get a snap and a spray bottle, a squirt. We call it the equalizer. Squirt bottle, and it can like shoot 30 feet, man. So you zap them and you clip, and very quick, within a month, you don't have to use a spray bottle anymore. You snap your fingers, they stop. They know, oh, I was about to do something. They're about to chew on a cord, right? They're going to get electrocuted, or they're going to jump on the counter and knock something off or whatever. Snap your, hey, oh, okay, mom. right? And they won't do it. So that people will try it a lot of times. If they like dogs, they'll try to talk to cats and speak cat the way they speak dog. And there are two different species. They speak very different languages. The cats are very trainable and very loving and warm if you just get them at the right age and you bond with them, right?
So sweet.
So I do that for splurging. And yeah, for going out and having fun. That's kind of what I like to do for fun. Something that I'm really been feeling lately is I know I just did alone, but because I was so engaged again in the mission that I'm really feeling like I need another sabbatical, like in my life, where I just need to go off for at least a couple weeks. Better for me is usually a month, where just go out and just backpack. So plan a trip somewhere and just go hang out and live for a while and journal. And I get a lot of messages from the universe when I'm out, and it's a process and a healing process for me to go out and journal and travel and just not have people around. And
Solo.
Yeah, solo for sure.
What are your names for the wind and the moon?
The moon was Larana. Water is Kun. And the wind is Shannara. Yeah, so those are my names for them. I feel like it's really special for me, like at times when I'm at a lake with the moon out, right, and the wind is blowing. Like those are like those three elements come together for me, and I'm like, God, this is my zen. This is my time to cry if I need to cry, to dance in the moonlight next to the lake, or take a little skinny dip in, or whatever it is. Like those are the really special times for me in my life.
Well, on that note, as we close, a question that I like to ask people often is, what are you grateful for?
Ooh, boy, and people have a single answer for that.
Well, it's a journey. All sorts of things happen. Some people don't know how to answer. Some people know exactly what they're grateful for.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I feel like you asked me what I'm grateful for, and I feel like visually, like if you could picture it, like all these, I'd be like engulfed in a wave. Like all kinds of like, I don't know, a wave of beads. I don't know, like all these things would be. I am so grateful for the journey. I guess that would be it, because that maybe encapsulates it all the best. And that journey is I feel like it's just been an epic journey. And I felt that I probably felt that like in my 30s was the first time I really realized that I was even on a journey. And then looking back at the journey was on, and even the pain, the trauma, because with that, it molded me into something stronger, and it gave me something to be able to give others, to be able to help others. And that's a fantastic gift to have. So I'd say the journey, and that encapsulates all the mentors and all the gifts that I've gotten along the way, and that it's still continuing, and if I were in a car accident, if I die and, an embolism in the next 10 minutes, it's all good. Like, wow. I love that saying, the purpose of life. I don't believe in like the classic heaven, but the purpose of life isn't to show up at the pearly gates, nice and neat with your clothes neatly pressed and everything nice. And yes, looking for papa. And I've heard lots of versions, but I like the one like, no, you're supposed to come roaring up on a Harley, right? You're all bloody and sweaty and ripped up clothes. And you like get off the bike just as it comes out from under you and crashes into the pearly gates of this big ball of flame. And you stagger to your feet like, wow. What a ride. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The journey. Yeah, you're right. When I really think about it, I don't encapsulate it. Yeah.
But it is beautiful, because there's that pendulum swing where you have one version of life and another version of life. And there's this middle road that I feel a lot of interweaving and integrating and intertwining and just beautiful coming together.
Yeah. And wilderness therapy to me was awesome, because it really helped me do that. It helped me put all those pieces. And I say it, and by, it's not a thing. It was the people, it was the wilderness. It was, the Utah rocks and the clients coming in and all of them coming together, like was just phenomenal. And I'll say sometimes, like, if only a requirement, if all the populations of the world all over the place could get together and say, in order to go into politics, or business would be great too, but especially politics, a requirement for politics is you got to spend like 2 to 3 months in wilderness therapy, or you're not gonna, we refuse to let you.
You cannot rule our country unless you live on the earth for a while.
Some basics about interpersonal communication and relationships, and you've dealt with some of your trauma and your demons, and like, so be it.
Well, what more would you like to add, and how can people find you?
Cool. Yeah. So to add, I hope you all are having a fantastic journey and you're able to integrate everything. And whether you're at the low, one of those low points where it's hard and you're struggling right now, know that will change and you will get something out of it. So just carry on the journey, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and it'll happen eventually. Stay on the path as best you can. We all stumble off it sometimes. And to get a hold of me, let's see. So I have owlskills.com. So that's the easiest. Find the website and go from there. If you wanted some survival knowledge and you can't get out here to a class, come and join me somewhere, wherever I'm teaching around the country or occasionally around the world. Then you can find out online that have a masterclass. So masterclass.com. You can get a subscription to that. You can see it gets about 4.5 hours of content that should help keep you alive if you really like to go out there and play and want to make sure you're going to come back safely if anything goes wrong. What else? Boy, if you want to see, if you just want something to sit and watch with some popcorn and watch some shows, you can see Alone or Migrations. And yeah, maybe I'll see you out there. I collaborate with a lot of other schools and things. So Capricorn with Callie, Sacred Cedars with Carrie Lee. We're going to be doing things together. I'm up here in Vermont with VOGA, Vermont Outdoor Guide Association. And we do classes. I do classes up here and private courses. So dial up on the website, send me an email if you have a group of people anywhere in the country or again the world, and you want to go learn some skills, and whether it's hard and a little soft, and we can play. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my world.
My life is forever changed by you.
Thank you. And likewise, what you're bringing and reminding me of as well in my teaching. And I think it helped spur again more of that. This is soft skills and remembering, even though I have a mission of, okay, you're all here for navigation, let's go. No, somebody says something and feeling the energy of the group and being like, there's some soft skills that are more important right in this moment. They'll get plenty of hard skills anyway. Soft skills are what is being pulled out right now and what's needed. That's the path.
I love that you're attuned to that. Thanks again.
You bet. Thank you, Rain.
Thank you so much for listening. It has been a great joy to have your presence here in this podcast. I welcome you to celebrate the joy and wisdom in your life exactly as it is. And I welcome you to feel loved, fully loved, exactly as you are. www.rainelizabeth.org